Good evening. It's Tuesday, the 8th of July, and here's what's making news around the world on World News Tonight. Diplomatic efforts. Kuala Lumpur ramps up safety for high-stakes ASEAN foreign ministers meeting. Peace stalemate. Israel-Hamas ceasefire talks end without progress as diplomatic hopes dim. Courtroom experience. Immersive jury drama lets you deliberate, debate, and deliver a verdict in real time.
From Colombo, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening once again. Security has been heightened in Kuala Lumpur ahead of the 58th ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting starting today to the 12th of July, addressing tensions over US tariffs, the Myanmar crisis and Gaza conflict. The US Secretary of State Marco Rubio will attend, marking his first Indo-Pacific visit.
In preparation for the AMM, Malaysian authorities have implemented stringent security protocols, deploying over 5,000 personnel to ensure the safety of delegates and smooth conduct of the meetings. The agenda includes discussions on US tariffs, regional issues such as the ongoing conflict in Myanmar and the situation in Gaza. Secretary Rubio's participation underscores the United States' commitment to the Indo-Pacific region amid global uncertainties. The AMM provides a platform for ASEAN members and dialogue partners to address pressing regional challenges. The ongoing crisis in Myanmar and the global impact of US tariffs are expected to dominate discussions. These issues have significant implications for regional stability and economic cooperation. The meeting aims to foster collaboration and formulate collective responses to these challenges. The AMM serves as a critical forum for reaffirming ASEAN's centrality in regional affairs and its role in addressing global challenges. The participation of key international partners, including the United States, highlights the importance of multilateral diplomacy in navigating complex geopolitical landscapes. The outcomes of this meeting are anticipated to shape the direction of regional cooperation and influence broader international relations in the coming years.
Demand for weight loss drugs is rapidly increasing in India, with pharmaceutical giants Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk fiercely competing for market share. Research firm Pharmarak reports significant growth, reflecting rising obesity concerns and expanding access to innovative treatments nationwide.
Demand for weight loss drugs in India has shot up, and rivals Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are battling for market share. That's according to research firm Pharmarak. It said sales of Lilly's Mounjaro, which launched in March, doubled from May to June. Overall, it's almost hit close to 88,000 units sold, over $3 million. Meanwhile, Pharmarak said Novo sold almost 1,800 units of Wegovy since its late June launch. Medical journal The Lancet has said the incidence of obesity and diabetes is rising in India, and the country ranks among the worst 3 globally for high obesity rates. Pharmarak said the Indian obesity market has grown 5-fold since 2021 and is valued at $73 million. And affordability and willingness to try new drugs for obesity have propelled the growth of the market. While Wegovy's only just launched, the active ingredient in it, semaglutide, has a 2/3 share in the Indian market, according to Pharmarak. And Novo has sold oral versions of semaglutide for diabetes in India since 2022. However, semaglutide will lose patent protection in India next year, enabling generic drug makers to produce cheaper versions of Wegovy as India becomes a key battleground for drug makers in the global obesity market.
South Korean activist Lee Min-bok has halted his anti-Kim Jong-un leaflet balloon launches, leaving his equipment unused for months. Under newly elected pro-engagement President Lee Jae-myung, activists fear a crackdown, with police monitoring operations and preparing punitive legal measures.
Activist Lee Min-bok is known for sending balloons into North Korea, where he once defected from. They carry leaflets against leader Kim Jong-un into the isolated country over the border from the south. But Lee hasn't sent them for months now, for fear of a potential crackdown closer to home, as newly elected president of the South, Lee Jae-myung, has been pushing to ease tension with the North. The president says activists should be severely punished if they keep sending balloons. For years, police have monitored Lee, the activist, from next door. One plainclothes officer told they're there to protect him from North Korean threats. But now, he spends his days writing online posts criticizing the South Korean government instead of planning balloon launches.
자꾸 저 자극된다는데 그렇게 조용히 하면
I've been doing it quietly, and what's wrong with that, provoking North Korea?
북한의 언론을 자유할 때까지.
No way, I want to continue it until North Korea liberalizes its press. Our government should be ashamed of itself.
Balloon activists like Lee, many of whom are also defectors, are no strangers to political attention. A previous Liberal president tried to ban their activities, but that was declared unconstitutional. Last year, North Korea expressed its anger over the balloons by launching waves of its own into the south, some carrying garbage. Since taking office, the new president has ordered measures to stop leaflet launches. Officials discussed deploying police to border regions and using aviation safety laws to punish activists, according to the Unification Ministry. One police official said that in the last year, authorities have investigated 72 leaflet-related cases, including some involving American activists, and sent just over a dozen to prosecutors. The moves are welcomed by some residents who have said the launches put them at risk. Park Hae-yeon is a farmer whose family runs a restaurant in Paju, a town near the border.
Now I am hearing leaflets are not being distributed. Hearing that, I thought, okay, I just need to work harder and serve my customers well. And of course, keep working hard on farming and living my life. I see a sign of hope.
President Lee may still face an uphill battle in improving ties with the North. Last year, Kim Jong-un abandoned a goal of unification with the South and has shown little openness to diplomacy. Since he took office, Lee has emphasized engagement and suspended anti-North Korea loudspeaker broadcasts at the border.
South Korea has voiced strong regret after a UNESCO committee rejected its proposal to review Japan's handling of wartime forced labor sites, including Hashima Island. Seoul urged Tokyo to honor its 2015 commitment, and the motion passed by 7 votes to 3.
South Korea has voiced strong regret after a UNESCO committee rejected its proposal to review Japan's handling of wartime forced labor sites, including Hashima Island, known as Battleship Island. In 2015, Japan pledged to acknowledge the use of Korean forced labor when registering its Meiji-era industrial sites as World Heritage. But Seoul says Tokyo has failed to honor that commitment. At the 47th UNESCO session in Paris, South Korea pushed for a formal agenda to assess Japan's follow-through. But Japan submitted a revised motion deleting the item, which passed with 7 votes in favor and 3 against. Despite the vote, many countries reportedly sympathize with South Korea, which stressed that reviewing the implementation of the UNESCO committee's decision is not only a legitimate right for member countries, but also a matter of principle. Seoul will continue pressing Tokyo to keep its UNESCO commitments and promises, while aiming to pursue future-oriented cooperation based on mutual trust.
Emperor Naruhito of Japan is on a state visit to Mongolia, marking an important moment of remembrance and diplomacy. The visit honors Japanese POWs held in Mongolia during World War II and aims to strengthen ties between the two nations.
The Japanese prisoners of war who were held in Mongolia were part of a larger group of detainees captured by the Soviet Union during the final stages of World War II. Approximately 12,000 to 14,000 Japanese soldiers were transported to Mongolia, where they were subjected to forced labor under severe conditions. Many of these prisoners were tasked with constructing key infrastructure in Ulaanbaatar, including government buildings, a university and a theatre. Tragically, around 1,700 of them died due to malnutrition, disease and the harsh labor conditions. Emperor Naruhito's visit is a significant gesture of remembrance and reconciliation. It reflects Japan's ongoing efforts to acknowledge and atone for the suffering caused during the war. This visit also highlights the importance of historical understanding in fostering peaceful relations between nations. By honoring these detainees, Japan and Mongolia reaffirmed their commitment to peace and mutual respect. Beyond the memorial ceremony, Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako are engaging in various diplomatic and cultural activities during their visit. They are scheduled to meet with Mongolian President Ukna Kurelsuk to discuss strengthening bilateral relations and cooperation between the two nations. Additionally, the imperial couple will attend the opening ceremony of the Nadam Festival, Mongolia's traditional celebration of horse racing, wrestling and archery. This participation underscores the deepening cultural and diplomatic ties between Japan and Mongolia. The visit also includes tours of institutions supported by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, highlighting Japan's ongoing development assistance to Mongolia. These engagements reflect a shared commitment to enhancing people-to-people exchanges and fostering a deeper understanding between the two nations. Emperor Naruhito's visit to Mongolia is not only a commemoration of past events, but also a step towards building a future of mutual understanding and cooperation. As both nations continue to navigate the complexities of regional and global dynamics, this visit serves as a reminder of the importance of historical reflection in shaping a peaceful and collaborative future. The Emperor's efforts to honor the wartime detainees in Mongolia exemplify a commitment to acknowledging past hardships and working towards a harmonious future.
Let's go in for a short commercial break. More world news coming right after this. Welcome back. Roman star war Russia's recently dismissed transport minister was found dead from a gunshot wound in his car near Moscow. State investigators suggest suicide as the primary cause, though an official probe is still ongoing. His firing followed allegations of embezzlement during his tenure as governor of Kursk.
Russia's fired transport minister Roman Starovoit was found dead in his car outside Moscow on Monday, with a gunshot wound to his head. Government investigators said that their principal hypothesis is that Starovoit took his own life. He was dismissed by President Vladimir Putin just hours earlier. A presidential decree published earlier on Monday gave no reason for the dismissal. Political analysts were quick to raise the possibility that Starovoit may have been removed in connection with an investigation into corruption in the Kursk region, where he had served as governor. Starovoit only held the transport ministry job for a year. There were conflicting reports about the timing of his death. Russia's investigative committee, which probes major crimes, said in a statement it was working to establish the precise circumstances. Various Russian media cited law enforcement sources as saying a pistol belonging to Starovoit had been found alongside his body in his car. His dismissal and subsequent death comes at a time of significant challenges for Russia's transport sector. As the war in Ukraine drags on for a fourth year, Russia's aviation sector is short of spare parts, and Russian Railways, the country's largest employer, is grappling with soaring interest costs as high rates needed to curb higher inflation, exacerbated by the war, take their toll. The Kremlin said Andrei Nikitin, a former governor of the Novograd region, has been appointed acting transport minister, and it published photographs and video of him with Putin. Two transport industry sources said plans to replace Starovoit with Nikitin had been in the works since before last month's International Economic Forum in St. Petersburg. The transport ministry declined to comment on Monday.
Ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas in Doha ended without progress as indirect negotiations stalled. Ahead of a White House meeting between Netanyahu and Trump, violence in Gaza persisted.
The first round of ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas, which opened on Saturday in Doha, has ended without a breakthrough. According to reports from AFP, the delegations from both sides engaged in indirect negotiations facilitated by mediators. A Palestinian official told AFP the talks focused on a ceasefire framework and a possible hostage prisoner exchange. But no progress was made in the first meeting. Meanwhile, ahead of his scheduled meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House on Monday, President Trump expressed optimism about a possible breakthrough between Israel and Hamas.
I think there's a good chance we have a deal with Hamas during the coming week.
Netanyahu also voiced confidence that his talks with the U.S. leader would significantly contribute to progress in the negotiations.
I believe that the conversation with President Trump can definitely help advance this outcome.
Ahead of the negotiations, Hamas had reportedly proposed a revised truce plan. It includes a 60-day ceasefire and the return of more than 10 living Israeli hostages and the bodies of several others in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Hamas also demanded Israeli troops pull back to pre-March positions when earlier talks collapsed. Other conditions include restarting UN-led humanitarian operations in Gaza and reopening the Rafah border with Egypt for medical evacuations. However, Israel rejected the proposal, calling it unacceptable. Despite diplomatic efforts, violence continued on the ground on Sunday. An Israeli airstrike targeting a residential area in northern Gaza before dawn killed 10 people. In total, Gaza's civil defense said 26 Palestinians were killed in Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip on Sunday alone.
In Ireland, forensic teams are set to begin excavating a mass grave containing the remains of approximately 800 infants at a former Catholic-run mother and baby home in Troom, County Galway, marking a long-awaited step in confronting historical institutional abuse.
The Twa Mother and Baby Home operated from 1925 to 1961 under the care of the Bon Secours sisters. It was one of many institutions across Ireland where unmarried pregnant women were sent, often under coercive social pressures. A 2014 investigation by local historian Catherine Corliss uncovered death records for 802 children at the site, but no burial records, prompting national outcry. In 2021, a government report confirmed that nearly 9,000 children died in similar homes across Ireland, citing neglect, disease and malnutrition as common causes. The investigation laid bare the systemic failures of both the Catholic Church and the Irish state in protecting society's most vulnerable. Preparatory work for the excavation began in mid-2024, with full-scale operations commencing this month. Led by Daniel McSweeney of Ireland's Office of Director of Authorised Intervention, the forensic team will work to exhume and identify remains from what is believed to be a disused sewage system. The excavation presents unique challenges, including co-mingled remains, degraded biological material, and limited archival documentation. Specialists from 6 countries are involved, using cutting-edge DNA analysis to identify the children where possible. Those who cannot be identified will receive dignified burials. The project is expected to span 2 years.
For the first time in over a century, Paris has reopened 3 public swimming sites along the Seine River following a $1.5 billion cleanup effort tied to the 2024 Olympics, with daily water testing and 1,000 visitors allowed per site.
Finally, Paris reopened 3 designated swimming sites along the Seine River for the first time in over a century on Saturday, following a major cleanup tied to the 2024 Olympics. The 3 locations are near the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, and the National Library. Officials confirmed that the water is being tested daily to make sure it is safe. The river had been closed off since 1923 as it was too polluted to swim in safely. However, Paris invested $1.5 billion into cleaning up the river to ensure it was Olympic ready in 2024. 1,000 visitors will be allowed in each swimming site each day until the end of August.
Time for a short break now. We'll be right back. Welcome back. In California, the jury experience is an immersive courtroom drama where the audience acts as jurors. Within 1 hour, participants hear evidence, deliberate, and deliver a verdict. This interactive show combines live acting and real legal dilemmas for a unique theatrical experience.
But I need help getting out of jury duty.
Trying to get out of jury duty, so common, it's a TV trope.
I don't really think it's fair for me to be on a jury because I'm a hologram.
But many people are eager to bring the gavel down. The Jury Experience is an immersive courtroom drama where the fate of the defendant is in the hands of the audience. The audience acts together as the jury. They not only pick their own summons date, but also paid to be here. It's set up like your average U.S. courtroom with a bit of Broadway flair. The experience is available in more than 40 cities all over the world.
Driverless cars for people my age or something out of science fiction movies.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Of course, there are some differences from a real trial. When you arrive, you scan a QR code that allows you, as a juror, to change the course of the case in a classic choose-your-own-adventure style. And it is not always unanimous. And according to a 2017 survey by the Pew Research Center, about 67% of U.S. adults say serving on a jury is part of what it means to be a good citizen.
The machine is learning by observing human behavior. It is learning.
This trial was a question of fault involving artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, and the man behind it all.
You shouldn't be putting the AI on trial because honestly, it made the decision. I didn't.
And after rounds of cross-examination, some yelling, and and 4 minutes of deliberation, the jury reached a decision, or at least they appeared to. So what was the final verdict? That's for you to decide.
In a heartwarming reunion in Conway, Arkansas, 3-year-old Grayson met the firefighters who saved his life. Surrendered as a baby under the state's safe haven law, Grayson was cared for by the Conway Fire Department. This emotional meeting highlights the profound impact of the law and the compassionate work of first responders.
Hey, can you take me a ride? And in Arkansas, a reunion years in the making.
Yes, this is Grayson.
That's 3-year-old Grayson meeting the firefighters who saved him years ago as a newborn.
You got it? All right!
Grayson was dropped off at the Conway Fire Department by his birth mom in a safe baby box back in 2022, before his parents Kelly and Britton adopted him. Knowing his story, Grayson wanted to visit those firefighters and have his heroes show him the ropes.
What is this thing? He's the best friend I never thought I would have. He's everything to me. We wanted to be parents for our whole lives, and when we got that call, it changed everything.
And with that, we come to the end of today's edition of World News Tonight. With the hopes of seeing you again, I'm Selena Jaitilaka, and we leave you tonight with the visuals of hot air balloons decorating the sky above home. Also, don't forget to send us your feedback through email at feedback.ad24english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 076-805-7933. Prasansa Gunavardhana will be joining you next with a nightly business report. Thank you for watching and have a great night.